Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers, connecting with makers from all around the world. Here's your hosts, Jamie Page, Chris Cute, and now, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, wherever you're listening. Joins me as always, Mr. Chris Cute.
How you doing?
We've also got with us this week Mr. Andy Birkey. How you doing, Andy?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Chris, we should edit in like a little like.
I'll just put in spastic and let it go with that.
It's giving me one of those evenings. Okay, and I mean, there's so much potential mileage there to just segue in, but I'm going to ignore it all. I'm going to rise above it. Jamie, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm well.
Good. We'll say no more about that.
Segues there.
To see you with that, like, on the little two-wheel trolley thing. That's what we meant. As always, tonight's show is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit, the Woodturners Abrasive Paste, our good friend Chad at Mancrafting, Pam over at Highland Boxes, and our good friend Steve Harneal at Harneal Media, who does all the website stuff that Jamie has been taking the credit for quite some time now, I think. But, you know, we won't tell him. If you want to find out a little more about us, and I don't know why you'd want to feel more about us after the first 2 minutes, but anyway, probably more the sponsors, I'm guessing. Head on over to our website, makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors. There's loads of stuff on there. Chris, what are we talking about this evening? Because we're all in lockdown here. Jamie and I are. What's going on in?
Well, you guys hit me with socially distancing, and then I ended up hearing social distance, and so here we sit, distant from each other, which is probably, considering Andy's here, a very good thing. But
that's what I was thinking. Everyone, we haven't had a guest on with us for ages, and we went, and it's got to be Andy. And then as soon as we said that, it was like, if there isn't a topic in social distancing and there's a link there, like any time, let alone topical.
I would be really angry about that inference, except for I totally get it.
From the guy that deliberately goes out and does the big shop at 2 a.m. so he doesn't have to people.
Yep. Guilty as charged, Your Honor.
Man after my own heart.
So, I mean, I don't know what we're talking about tonight. We have a ton of questions. I mean, Mr. Pugh has hooked us up, but Dale Kirkwood has thrown his 2 cents in there. I mean, we could start with questions, or, we could just keep going off the rails the way we have been for the past half an hour. It doesn't really matter to me one way or another.
It's kind of our specialty.
Oh, yeah. And we're good at saying nothing, but having fun.
Well, I mean, we've done it for this long, but I'm quite. I mean, but I don't mean half an hour. I mean like 3.5 years. We've managed to drag out a no topic at all for at least an hour a week. So that's
Does
got to be a
anybody
Guinness World
listen to
Record
this,
in there.
or are we just?
No, I think it's just for us, Andy.
Okay.
It's just for us.
All the chat, all the live chat that you can. They're actually like bots. They're just random generated bots.
Yeah. The guy
from Twitter.
Wayne the Woodturner out there, he's just a robot asking how Fiona is.
Fiona's good. She is not stinky anymore. We gave her a full bath after her roll in coyote crap today. And actually, she did it twice in one outing, which is kind of a record.
But that's the thing to do. That's the thing. If you're going to do it once, you're going to go home and have a bath. You might as well do it twice.
It's true. So she was in the back of the van on the way home. I'm going to tell you that right now, because that was as nasty as it's been.
Was there a garden hose involved with that? Or
there was. Oh, yeah. Actually, I had a garden hose in the back of the van, as it were. So it was. I keep a little bottle of shampoo in the glove box for these occasions. And we were on like mad. And it was about 32 degrees, which is right at 0 centigrade. So.
Right. All right. Well, I'm going to tell you a quick story. This dog, who has an IQ of like maybe 20, when I first got him, no, Andy, the dog is stupid. I've got what is called a border collie, and they're supposed to be the smartest animals or one of the smartest dogs. This guy stood in the wrong line. That's all I'm saying. All right. Anyway, my son wanted a dog, so we went out and got this dog for him. And it was a week after we got him. And he got away from me outside. He saw some deer in my backyard and decided to take off throughout the forest. And I'm like, and I'm freaking out. I'm running after him, and I'm running through muddy crap, getting myself filthy as hell. I fell down a couple times trying to keep, and I finally just gave up. I'm going, I don't know how I'm going to tell my son that his dog ran away. I mean, we've had him a week. I don't know how I'm going to tell him I'm going to do this. And I'm walking back on the road to my house. And if that freaking dog wasn't sitting there by the garage waving his tail, I'm like, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. And there was definitely a garden hose involved with that. No, that dog does not go out with a leash anymore. And yes, I remember that, you bastard. Anyway, all right. And he's laying there.
Whoa.
They've always got that like completely excited / innocent face as well. But Daddy, it smells so delicious. What's the problem? Oh, it's so lovely.
Exactly. I tried to resist, but I just couldn't, Dad.
I wanted to chase those deers, and they wanted me to chase them. I didn't know you were going to follow me, you moron. Whatever. Anyway, don't you gotta love dogs, though? Don't you have to love dogs?
I tell you
Mandatory.
what, I've got more respect for more dogs than humans.
True.
and that's not because I don't give humans any. Just that there's so much more with a dog. A dog is unconditional, whereas humans are just
Iffy.
nasty. Yeah, iffy. Yeah, iffy. They're at best questionable characters.
Actually,
Jamie.
I'm one of those weird. I'm one of those weird males that is actually a cat fan. I think cats are cool as hell. I do because you look at a cat and you go, "Come here," and the cat looks at you and goes, "Okay, I can respect that." It's like
they don't even laugh at you, man. They just look at you like,
"No,
you disgusting."
I'll let you know when I want you. You're my human, remember? I mean, that's their mentality. I mean, so I respect cats. Anyway,
I always used to be a cat person. Absolutely. Not that I wasn't a dog person. I think I always preferred cats over dogs. But since being a dog person, I hate cats. Cats are questionable again.
My own experience, yours may differ. My own experience, when I'm in the shop, the cat works out a lot better for me than the dog. Because the dog likes to get in my
target.
Well, no, like I said, my dog is a border collie. So every time I turn around, he's trying to herd me in some sort of freaking direction. He's like right in front of me, trying to herd me.
It's because your workshop's so enormous. He's literally like, come on, Dad, over to the bandsaw, this way. Right.
Let me know when we can do an R-rated show, because there are things I would like to say that I can't say right now.
Today.
Keep staring.
Anyway, you want to hear some questions? Because I've got some questions that are actually pretty good.
Let's go. Come on.
Sure.
All right. Mr. Birkey, this first one's directed directly at you.
Give it to me, baby.
But it's also being asked of the rest of us. So, Richard and Jamie, prepare your answers. It's from Andy Pugh. And Andy, we're not worthy. Thank you, by the way, for all the questions again this week. He says that Andy loves his food. Yes.
True. Yeah, this is
Andy
true.
Does love his food. What would be his trifecta of perfect culinary lockdown food? Talking about breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you could have the ultimate culinary experience in one day, what would it be for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Okay. Start would be, my mom was old school Mennonite cook, right?
Right.
Amish type of mentality. So bacon gravy on biscuits would be, here's the deal. In times of, when you're looking for comfort, it's all about carbohydrates, right?
Yep.
So So that's how I would start the day. Coffee, of course, like mainline that from 30 seconds of waking up, and then I'd go directly into a bacon gravy on homemade biscuits, and then for lunch I would do probably tacos.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah. And then for dinner, I probably, I have an Italian restaurant here locally that's about 4 blocks that way. And I would do their super thin crust cracker crust pizza. Shout out to Luca Grill.
Oh, there you go.
Do you say biscuits?
Yeah, that would be confusing, isn't it?
That would be confusing for you.
Would they be our dumplings?
Yeah, I think they're probably the closest.
We call them baking powder biscuits, and the leavening is baking powder. So it's old school. Chris, what?
Flour. It's flour, butter, milk, and baking soda, and you mix it all together. And if you want to, you can throw cheese and more butter in their cubes to make them kind of a buttery, cheesy biscuit. But the typical ones,
they raise big.
Yeah, but they raise up
kind of like scones, aren't they?
Yeah,
a little bit. Only not sweet at all.
Yeah,
a lot of scones are sweet, right?
So we'll have like cheese scones.
Well, these are ones that like you could dip these into. Excuse my friend, I said dick, didn't I? You could dip them into like a beef stew or a soup that you're having, and it's just it's a biscuit.
Kind of like dumplings. Yeah. Only they're baked instead of stewed.
Yeah, so the dumplings we have are made with suet, flour, and water.
Pretty close. Yep. Pretty
Close.
These have just a little bit of leavening though to make them raise up like that. Then you split them in half and pour gravy on both sides. Oh my god,
that's just good.
So like proper dumplings. They've got that suet in them. You take a bite, you swallow it. It hits the bottom of your stomach and then just drags around behind.
Well, here's the dealio. This is old farmers' food in the States. This is they call it. My grandpa used to call it rib sticky because it would stick to your ribs, right? So when you're out in the field, you didn't think about food again until noon.
If you head down south in the USA, you'll see them on the menu as biscuits and sausage gravy. It's the same idea. Anyway, all right. So
which is actually more popular than bacon gravy, but that's what I was raised on.
Oh, all right. Well, Jamie, Richard, your breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whoever wants to go.
I'm gonna dive in if that's all right, Jamie, because my breakfast is going to be one of Jamie's fry-ups. You've not had a fried breakfast until Jamie's cooked it. To be fair, because there's like 12 sausages, 18 pounds of bacon, an entire hen house of eggs, black pudding to feed the 1st Battalion, the Scots Guards. It's just like this. Pass the ketchup, Jamie, and it's like that. What? Looking round.
Right. If you can walk after breakfast, you haven't had a proper breakfast.
Yeah. So that a good old greasy spoon fry up breakfast for me.
It's got to be from a greasy spoon, though.
Right, like that place right around from your house, Jamie.
No, that I wouldn't have called that a greasy spoon.
Oy.
I'd say that's too clean.
The kind,
that's what I miss
sawdust on the floor.
In this whole era of cleanliness and stuff, I miss those like greasy. I mean, for tacos, for me, if it's not sketchy as all get out, and if they can speak English, I need the real thing, man. It's got to be way sketchy, and then we're talking tacos.
I need sketchy, and I need to point at the menu. It's like that.
Exactly. Or just go. I don't care. Then just give me anything.
Lunch and dinner there, Richard, because you're not off the hook yet.
Well, I mean, I'm not much of a lunch person, to be honest.
Oh, dude. Okay.
No, I mean, like I'm more of a grazer than the 3 squares. But if it's going to be lunch, then it's probably going to be like a ham and cheese toasty, something like that. Grilled cheese sandwich, I guess, would be your sort of equivalent, or a Breville over here. And then for dinner, it's got a what's what?
Let's not get fancy. I mean, Breville. Please give me a freaking break.
So for dinner, evening meal, something like that, I'm going to say probably my favourite is going to be one of Kat's chicken grunkles. Chicken grunkle probably won't mean anything to anyone, but it's like a chicken thighs with bones in, and then chorizo and peppers and risotto rice, and all just kind of gets dumped in and boiled up for 3 days, and then it just so the chicken it's got to be like slow cooked and done for a while, with thick crusty bread with proper butter on it.
Yeah,
and then some kind of any pudding served with custard, hot pudding and custard.
All right, Jamie, you're up.
respect that.
Right.
What is the page man? What does the page man dive into?
Straight away, full English, without doubt.
Breakfast, full English breakfast.
I
Yeah,
respect that.
without a shadow of a doubt, it's got to be that.
I can back
Lunch, I'm kind of the same as Richard, but I guess if I was to choose, do you know what? I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know about lunch, if I'm totally honest with you.
Well, what about dinner?
Dinner's it was steak without a shadow of a doubt.
Steak. That's my boy. Steak and
With what?
potatoes.
Yeah,
Steak.
a nice big steak.
You're a steak and potatoes man. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Emma's come up with a good one. Emma Dragontail turn-ins Sunday roast. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
True.
With Yorkies, roast
No,
potato.
Yeah.
with potatoes and carrots and all that kind of. Yeah. Okay, Emma. I think you win. All right, but I mean, here's what mine is. I don't eat breakfast. I'm like, kind of like Richard with lunch. I don't normally eat breakfast, but if I'm going to have breakfast, here's what my breakfast would look like. 2 pieces of hot toast, peanut butter smeared on both of them so it melts, and then bacon. And I'm not talking about a little.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a lot of bacon sandwiched in between that. Bacon and peanut butter sandwich. If you've never had one,
Boom.
dude, I'm telling you, you need to go have that, because
It's like salt till you die.
it's like, oh my god, I have just landed in heaven. As
I
Go
was
ahead.
just going to say, David Jones from Port Woodworth just reminded me, if I was in the States, Waffle House for breakfast.
Truth.
No truth.
And
I mean,
that
I will
would
give
that would be my lunch. All right.
But I see
There
the
you
reason
go.
why I don't do breakfast is because I don't eat eggs. I can't. And so, I mean, I'm not a big pancake or waffle fan either. So if I go to Waffle House,
Pancakes.
I'm ordering a slice of ham and some maybe some grilled potatoes and some English muffin or whatever. Anyway, for lunch, I'm talking about I'm all about Cuban sandwiches.
Mm.
I friggin'
nice.
love Cuban sandwiches. Cuban sandwiches with some potato chips, that's lunch. For dinner, I'm going to be right there with Andy. It's going to be a thin crust pizza with the kitchen sink on top of it. I mean, I will have that every day of the week. So, yeah, that's mine.
So when I was in Miami and I had a Cuban sandwich, all I could relate to it was basically a baguette roll with crisps inside of it or potato chips. And we've been doing that for years, since we were kids.
Well,
Really?
Crisp sandwich.
A crisp sandwich.
No, I know people who put potato chips, crisps, if you like, on like peanut butter sandwiches. I mean, I've heard of people doing that. I just didn't know that they did it that way.
Did you
Yeah.
ever have sugar sandwiches as a kid?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Just sprinkle sugar on bread, fold it in half, and
Hey, when we
we-
didn't have any ice cream, or when it was bucks low, we would have warm milk on saltine crackers and sugar. That
We
was
used to
dessert.
put butter and sugar on Weetabix as well.
Oh, I remember my grandmother used to make homemade pizza, and she would do it by squirting ketchup on a piece of bread, then throwing a piece of American cheese on top of it and putting it in the oven, and then try to pass it off to us as pizza. Like, Gamma, no, this is not what I was looking. Anyway, all right, you guys are ready for the next question, because we have several.
As
and
always,
we might as well move it along. Okay, I guess this has to do with social distancing here. And Andy, you can pick this up if you want. You're our guest, so you can go first. You can go last. It's your choice. What have you learned or achieved while in this lockdown situation that we're currently in?
I will say two things. One, I have overcome I think I've overcome my fear of Fusion 360, which is 3D.
Awesome.
What do you call it?
Printing.
No.
Well, it's modeling.
Design software.
It's a CAD design software, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that thanks to Jamie Reeder, huge shout out. The dude's awesome. It's been one of my kind of like nemesis that I mean, it's always the thing that I'm busy enough in the shop that I can put that particular thing off, but I know if I can do it, it's going to be huge. So I've kind of done that, and I've kind of also become reacquainted with a little bit more self-discipline. It's been easy to bail on a lot of stuff just because I have this excuse. So, keeping a daily journal and kind of keeping myself on a shorter leash, both physically on what I'm doing physically and mentally. Hugely mentally, of kind of just going, look, what I don't want to do in this whole thing, and you guys, what do you think about this? What I don't want to do is come out on the backside of this and kind of look back and go, what did I get anything done during that 3-4 months or whatever it's going to be?
Yeah.
I really want to go, no, that was the time when I crushed Fusion 360 or I got stuff done on the house or whatever. Stuff that I've been putting off for years, literal years. And I really want to come out of this, not feeling like I wasted any time.
I hear you. No, I hear you. And I'm right there with you. I just haven't decided on what that thing is yet, Andy, that I'm going to go ahead and do. I don't know. For me, it's what have I learned or managed to achieve while in lockdown? I don't know. I'm more social than I am actionable. So I've learned that there is kindness in people out there that is beyond my ever expectation. I never expected some people to be as kind as they actually are. But on the other hand, I've noticed that there are people who are a lot less kinder than I thought they were. So I don't know that I've personally have learned or achieved anything except that awareness. You follow me? I haven't actually done the Fusion 360 hard, this is a tool I can use for the rest of my life thing yet. So that doesn't mean it's not going to come. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird for me because I've basically been holed up here with Kat, and there's so much I can do, so much I want to do, and in some respects, it's no different to any other day. I've always got a huge long list of things that I want to do, and I'll get annoyed because I'll only do a third of them, even though a third is like overachieving, because I probably should have only got away with like a quarter. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to do those other two things as well. So I genuinely think, and this isn't like some kind of like, oh, look at me sort of phrase, but I genuinely think it doesn't matter what I achieved. I'd always want to achieve that and that other thing on the list. I don't think I'll ever be satisfied. I've been rattling through a list of like projects that I've had that I wanted to get on and do. One of them is that big tool cabinet build, and that sort of spiraled out of control as well. Nice long walks with. It's just one of those things.
Richard, I have to interrupt you because Kat just says, and I've always got a long list of things I want him to do. Now, Kat, this is supposed to be about what you've done, not about the list you haven't had time to make for Richard yet.
Yeah,
we can always get the community involved and get him to do it.
God.
Yeah.
God, Kat, I love you. I really freaking do.
but so we got a load of like paving bricks so that I could do a patio for Kat. Filled in the pond, leveled it, put down weed suppressant membrane, and went and I did like 3 trips in the van for these. I don't know how many hundred of these little lemon paving block things we got. And then Kat goes, whilst we're at home, you could do the patio. And it was she asked me, like when I was thinking about something completely different, and it wasn't a nag, but because I was thinking about something, it kind of was a nag, even though it wasn't. Do you ever get that?
Oh yeah.
Like 100% of the time I get that.
I don't know, you're replying to a client email or something like that, and you're concentrating on it, and then go, oh, can you do this? And you're like, ugh, even though it's not. So she asked me, you could do the patio. Yeah, this light bulb went off, I'm sure. And I was like, yeah, patio, yeah. And a few days went over, and this was pre-lockdown, and like shops started closing, and we said, right, let's get some sand in. And then we've got the sand. And the next day she says, shall I get the sand? Are we ready for the sand? I'm like, well, no, but the shops are going to be closing. Oh, and then we're going to have to jiggle things around. And then we didn't get sand. So fortunately, there's no sand, so I can't put the patio down.
Oh, well.
I think you're going to be getting a punch after we go off air, Richard.
I don't want to be part of this.
I'm going to interrupt one more time because she responded by going, right, hang on. Those blocks have been sitting there for 9 months.
9 months, yeah, they have. Yeah, they have, because I couldn't do it over winter. It's probably nearer.
Okay, it's been really cool hanging out with you guys. I'm going to take off. Kat, love you. You're the best. I'm out of here.
Boom. Hammer down. Boom.
Yeah, no, they absolutely they have been there. But of course you can't do all that in the winter.
Noodle drop.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
Okay, next question, quick.
I cannot wait to see you guys again in person. Because we're gonna have fun. Anyway, all right, next question.
Wait, we didn't get Jamie.
Oh, Jamie, go ahead.
We just needed to get away from Richard.
So
what have you learned or achieved since the lockdown, Jamie?
So what have I achieved? I've managed to achieve a backlog of videos now. Quite a substantial backlog of videos, which is good. So I haven't got to kind of rush around anymore.
Right.
But I'm still putting them out. So when it does come to being re-released out into the world, that I haven't got to rush around as much.
Oh, well, by the way, let me just go ahead and ask. Do you have a premiere tonight?
Yes, I do. Funny enough.
I just wanted to get the promotion out of the way. Anyway, all right, go ahead.
But what have I learned? I've learned not to mess around with chisels.
Do tell.
Well, that comes down to that. Well, do you know what? It's actually cleared up now. That was when I cut my finger. There you go.
So you're missing the end of that finger is what you're trying to tell us. Okay, we got you.
Yes, I've learned not to mess around with chisels. And I've also learned never, ever, ever forget to put on your PPE.
Oh, what did you do?
Oh, sanding with cedar. I know exactly
That was
where
just
this is going.
sanding and turning with Spanish cedar.
Oh, my God.
It just about killed me. And
You go into
no matter
full-bore,
what I'd
nasal
done,
rock?
yeah. And I was like, oh. And what was even funnier was I went to do I can't remember if I was helping Dale from Maple Tree Studios or I was going on I was helping somebody with a live stream. No, it was actually my shout out. We'll get to that later on. He was doing a live stream, and I was like, I'll come and help out if you want, and I'll come and be on the panel, blah blah blah. So I went to set up my laptop into the workshop, but I had to do a quick bit of clearing up and sweep up some sawdust. And the shavings on the floor was from that Spanish cedar. Without thinking, just picked up a dustpan, picked up a trash bag, started picking it up. All the sawdust went straight into my face. And all of a sudden, it was like, I got onto the panel and I was like, I could hardly breathe. So,
man.
And if it's not putting on your dust mask, just make sure you wash your hands if you're going out or you've been out and come back and all that sort of stuff. Just simple stuff. Just don't forget.
Been there, done that. I can't tell you how close to home that hits. I refinished a buddy of mine's cedar chest once and didn't have the proper gear on. And oh my God. Yeah, you don't want to do that with cedar, folks. Anyway. But, all right, we've given Andy 2 questions in a row. Let's go to Dale. Dale Kirkwood has this one. All right, gentlemen. What do you miss because of the social distancing that we're going through right now? What do you miss that you cannot do? Is there anything you cannot do right now that you actually miss doing because of our current situation? I guess is what the question is. So, Dale, there's your question. Who wants to answer?
I can go first if you want. So,
sure.
A lot of the times, I actually used to go up to Dale's and hang out, or Dale and I used to meet up and we used to go out to other makers' houses. Like we used to go down to the Beard 16 and then Andy Hill used to come to Rich's and we used to meet up and all sorts. So we used to go to Axminster to see live shows or live demos and things like that. Because obviously I've got the group called Kent Makers. So yeah, we used to have little local meetups with a group of makers, and at the moment we can't do that. You know,
I get it. Richard,
to follow up, I was just going to say, Jamie, just to follow up on that, is that what you thought you might miss, or is there anything that you thought when they said, "Oh, you've got to stay in your house for the next 500 years"? Was that what you thought you'd miss, or was there anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I never really used to go out that much. I mean, the only times I used to have to go out really, or went out really, was to get like washing supplies and toiletries and all that sort of stuff. Otherwise, I'd get it delivered. You know, so the only time I ever really went out.
Fair play.
You know, I live in a pretty remote area, and I kind of live alone anyway. You know, I mean, I've got neighbors. I mean, Andy's been to my house. I've got a neighbor that's about 100 yards to one side and another neighbor that's about 300 yards over on the other side. But I don't have any, like, local friends here, and I've been living here for 15 years. So I don't know that I miss much. But what I do miss is the anticipation of going and seeing you people. Like Maker Central would have been coming up relatively soon, and we would have been going to that. And in order to understand where I'm coming from, you have to understand the isolation I currently live in to know how much it would mean to me to be able to do that. Right. So I mean, it really would mean a lot for me to get together with you guys and just have a good time, even if it was only for 3 or 4 days. You know, so that's not something I'm currently missing, but it's something I no longer, that anticipation has been taken away from me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so that's what I miss.
Yeah.
I go on the same sort of premise, but on a much more of a micro scale, that a lot of times during my day, especially when I'm doing Gothic stuff, I can get so layers deep into that, that I can feel myself getting weird. Right. So I plan an excursion midday. And by excursion, I'm talking secondhand stores, a couple of the restaurants that I, are owned by friends of mine. I'll go there for lunch, or, the secondhand stores over here, we have secondhand stores for building supplies. I have one of those close. And that is kind of it's not only like a break, but it's a creative reset. So I can go to like a secondhand store and find some fabric, or I can find a material that just gets me creatively going in a whole different direction, even if I don't buy it.
No,
just the fact that I'm there with it. And it's not about, for me, it's weird because it's not about people.
It's about things and ideas. And you know what? It's kind of a stress release in a sort of way by not, hovering over a single thought that allows you to get out and kind of cross feed yourself. And then it kind of brings you back to center. So when you have to go back to work, it's not such a tedious thing. Yeah, I hear you. What about you, Richard?
I think I miss my dad, which I didn't actually think would be the case. That was what I was alluding to with when I asked Jamie, because I mean I see my dad pretty much weekly, but I'm used to not seeing him for months. I mean when I lived in Bristol, when I lived in Farnborough, I literally wouldn't see them for months and months and months, and I wouldn't even think about them. I'd just be getting on, my head down in my own life, and I never thought for 1 minute that I would miss him. But I kind of just miss going around and having a cup of tea with my dad. It's kind of a weird one.
It's one of those things that kind of pops up because once you're told you can't, all of a sudden you do. Yeah.
But this is what I mean. This I think is a bit different because I haven't got a problem with not being able to see him. I mean, I can pick up the phone. I mean, he doesn't do like video chats like this, but he'll do phone. He does email. So we chat on the phone, but it's not the same as going around and sitting in the living room and having a cup of tea and having to shout at him because he's deaf and won't acknowledge the fact that he can't hear, which is quite amusing, actually, if not somewhat frustrating.
I have a father-in-law.
I'm so going to be like that. I'm so going to be like that when I'm old, if I get old. Which, unless I put this patio down, probably ain't going to happen anyway. So it's something else. But it wasn't something that I thought I'd miss. I thought I'd miss doing the kind of things that Andy was just talking about, like little excursions off to some random place or taking the dog to a new spot. I mean, we had a foster over Christmas that went about a week before lockdown kicked in, and we said, because we'd had these dogs for quite a while, we said to Poppy, once these two have gone, we'll take you down the seaside and you can run out, because she never had like a proper long walk. So we'll take you down to the seaside, but we haven't had a chance to. I thought I'd miss that more, but actually I haven't. I'm not bothered that I can't go out to the seaside, that I can't go to the places where people are, because it's kind of nice not being able to. It's really, for me personally, it's had a real adjustment of what I thought was a priority. Turns out they're not.
Right. So you're kind of enjoying you're enjoying the solitude, and but it's not solitude. I mean, like Kat's here, and we can, if we need milk, we go to the shop, get milk. No, I get it.
But we did that a month ago.
I can only equate that. I'm sorry for putting it this way, but I can only kind of equate that to when I was I was living in. I spent my entire life wearing these, and listening to music. And I can't tell you how good it is to hear silence. It's not that I don't love music. I do, but it's just nice to not hear anything anymore. I mean, I don't know. Most of you would have never been exposed to it as much as I have, but it's just, there comes to a point where it's like, you know what? This is a good time to take a break. And it's when I retired, that was just something I appreciated more than anything, was the silence. It was like, oh, finally. I don't have to listen to Britney freaking Spears. Oh my God!
What's wrong with Britney Spears?
Well, if you want to listen to her, and I'm not blaming you if you do. I'm just saying, go right ahead. But I've had my fill. Is all I'm going to say.
He stays on this podcast for Well, give it 10 minutes and you'll be able to hear it.
Well, I take that. I will listen to the Traveling Wilburys because I do love that band. But I mean, but other than that, no, no. I appreciate the silence when I'm in my shop. I really do.
With all those noisy machines going off at us. But I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. The whole being told not to. I've got this sneaking suspicion. I'd love to be proved wrong, but I reckon a lot of people are more anti this whole having to stay at home and not being able to do these things because they've been told they can't, not because any other reason. If like. I mean,
not because they're being put out. It's just the fact they're being told not to.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, a hell of a lot more dogs are getting walked because they can't. Been told they can't.
Right.
You know what? That's awesome too. By the way, have you seen that?
That's one good thing, but it's also a bad thing. We've got a couple of kind of regular routes where we take Poppy, and honestly. Flipping tourists, you could go out on the normal day and you wouldn't see a living soul, like because it's right out in the fields, through the woods, like middle of nowhere, and you wouldn't see a living soul for an hour and a half. Absolutely amazing. But for the last 3 weeks, you cannot move for people. Seriously, it is great because people getting out and you see mum and dad and 3 kids on their bikes, like crashing through the woods with wellies on and fighting sticks and swords and that sort of thing. But it's just people everywhere. It's like we're supposed to be getting away from each other and you can't move for people. There's a certain amount of irony in that, I think.
Yeah, that's what you get for living on an island.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
People are free to do what they do. The only problem with that is, I mean, if I could confine this virus to people who just refuse to listen to the warnings, and I would go have a parade, go have a protest, and have a huge party afterwards. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. It's like, oh my god. All right, let's move on. Andy Pugh's last question. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
born ready.
Here we go. We got time. What are the key things you are looking forward to when this whole social distancing type thing ends? And do you think, do anything different because of this experience? So what will you do when this is over? And that obviously, like relating to Dale's questions that you missed, but I mean, what are you looking forward to doing once this is over? And then once this is over, do you think that you'll be doing anything differently than you did prior because of the experience?
I'm not actually planning that far in advance.
You know what, Richard?
For a very good reason. Hear me out. Like when all this kind of kicked off, end of March time here in the UK, we'd sit down and we'd watch the daily press updates, and it was the numbers, and it was like we're doing this today and we're doing that, and then like half an hour of stupid questions, usually all the same one stupid question from the various newspaper and news outlets. And we do that for like a week and a half. And after that sort of time, from personal experience, or from this is how I felt anyway, everyone's like, oh, and it's been 3 weeks. You said it'd be 3 weeks. Is it not going to be 3 weeks? When can we? What's our exit strategy? When can we go to the parks? When can we go and do this? And when can we go and do that? And it's like, no idea, because people have got in their heads 3 weeks, and on day 21 they're like, why can't we go out tomorrow? And there's this huge like, no, you can't go out tomorrow, and everyone just went, oh, because if you set yourself that day, that target, and you get there and you go, yeah, you got to stay at home still. You're like, oh, are we nearly there yet?
That's the problem with giving people. And I'm not going to make this political. I mean, I don't care how you frame this, but that's the problem with giving people false hope. It's like, hey, by April 30th, we're going to open up the country. And then by April 30th comes, and then you realize we can't open up the country. You've just let a massive amount of people down. You're not doing yourself any favors by doing that. Number one, you're looking like a right asshole by saying something like that and then being proven wrong. And then secondly, you're letting a lot of people down who trusted what you just said and then realize that you lied to them. That's just not good. I mean, why do that?
So quick caveat there. When I said the 3 weeks, it was I can't remember the exact time. It might have been 3 weeks actually, but I think it was 12 weeks actually. 3 months, 12 weeks. But people, they get this time because they say, well, it's going to be 3 months, but it might be more.
Right.
And what everyone hears is, 3 months.
3 months.
And then they're like, day 69, ding. Oh, but it might be longer because 2 weeks ago you were told, actually, no, it's not. It's going to be more. But people just like fixate. And even when and then suddenly you're told it's, no, it's a nut. And now it's like, we've done 2.5 months and now we're being told it's 3 months again. So we'll do another 2.5 months.
And you wonder why people are upset. Yeah.
And then you get this kind of like a bit of a, no. So for me personally, I'm not thinking about the future. I'm thinking about not tomorrow, the week maybe. Yeah. Maybe plan the week out. Because I've got plenty of stuff. As long as I can not fall into a pit of poverty.
All right. Well, second part of that question to you then, Richard. What if anything will you do differently? Or are you kind of good with what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I think I am. I don't think it's kind of nice not being. It's like not really a care in the world, to be honest. Oh, that sounds a bit sort of like, well, whatever. But what? I mean, I hope I don't get ill. I hope none of my friends and family get ill as well.
But you won't be doing anything different, is what I'm saying.
Don't think so. No.
Andy, what about you?
Well, what was the first part of the question again?
What are you looking forward to the most once this thing is over, if anything? And also, after this is over, what are you going to change anything because of this experience? I mean, has it taught you something that you're going to incorporate into your life?
What I will go back to doing is sketchy stuff. My world, one thing I've realized is I like the margins of society and sketchy. I mean, to me, to take a camera into a bombed out building that could be, homeless guys or gang members or what, to me, that's just part of my world.
No, I hear you.
And I miss that really because it's, I don't know, it's an edge, I guess, creatively. There's just really cool visuals, right?
I can see that with you. Yeah, I can see that with you. I can see that. Yeah, absolutely. Because I know that you're into photography and you post some amazing pictures of some amazing situations and things that are going on in the world. So I can bro, I love you for that. Yeah, I can see that.
Thanks, man. To me, there's just this, I hate pre-processed food and I hate pre-processed like social situations. I hate stuff that, I'm not a Disneyland guy. I mean, I appreciate it for what it is, but it's. I mean, I know, but to me, it's like Velveeta cheese. I want to live my life like Roquefort, not Velveeta. I don't want it processed. I want it gritty. I want it nasty. And to not be able to put myself in those situations, which I do on a regular basis, I've really missed that. And it feeds my something. I don't know.
It feeds your core.
It's grounding in a way.
It feeds your core. But I mean, are you going to do anything different after this is over, or has anything that you've gone through changed your perspective on anything, or is it just kind of like, no, I've just kind of gone through this like everybody else, and I'm cool. I mean,
it's interesting because my wife and I have remarked several times during all this that our time in the Caribbean, we don't know. We don't realize it all the time, but this is brought into really, again, focus for us about how that we liked it in the Caribbean because pre-internet and all that, you never knew what was going to happen. And it was always, you could go to the grocery at any given time and not have sugar or flour or whatever. Right. And it was just, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll do something else. And we always liked that. And instead of viewing it as this huge burden, we always looked at it as an adventure. And that's kind of how we're viewing all this, that, we're enjoying, I hate to say this, but we're enjoying the adventure of it, that edge of not knowing, like Richard was saying, instead of like going, oh, if I can only make it to 3 weeks, it's more like we're kind of digging this edge of not being normal.
It's kind of like rolling with the punches. You know what? I'm just happy rolling with the punches here. All right.
Find after quite a short period of time, actually, you get used to that. So there's no sugar. Okay, I'll
roll with the punches. I'll roll with the punches, and I'll buy some corn syrup or whatever. Yeah.
But it doesn't take very long to just adapt to that and just be like, oh, okay, I'll do something else and not even give it a second thought. Whereas if you go back even a month, 2 months, no flour. What we get? Oh, right, hang on. So there's no flour. Right. So and then you'd have to you'd stand there and you'd like, and it was like sitting in some kind of school exam trying to work out what it is. Now you just go, right. Oh, okay.
All right. So on a very minimalist level, what you're saying is that your survivalist skills are now improved because of this, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, it's rehoned. Rehoned.
It's like, I can get by, and you've learned that you can get by, and so you've learned that. Now, whether you take it with you into the future is a different story. Because let's be honest, when that stuff's available again, that's what you're going to get, right?
Sure. I will tell you this, man. Back in the day, in the early '90s, I was doing work, post-hurricane reconstruction work for a guy in the Virgin Islands. And this dude was funded big time, really cool cat, but I'm working on his house and he calls me, he's sitting by the pool that I got. The first priority of rebuilding his house was to get the pool running, which I get it.
No roof, hole.
He's all about it. So he's down there chilling by the pool and he calls me down for fivesies, he called them, which was 5 o'clock. You had a cocktail. So it was like the fivesies. So he comes down and he says, Andy, I need to tell you something. I said, what's that, Phil? He said, I don't ever want you to let anybody ever look down on you for what you do. I was like, what are you talking about, dude? This guy's a bazillionaire. And, and he looks at me and he says, because after the apocalypse happens, you guys will be eating guys like me for lunch and you will be the kings of the world. And you know what? That was such an epiphany to me because this guy I really respected because he was a dude,
And he's not wrong. He wasn't wrong.
It's kind of summates the maker, what are all the guys with 3D printers? They're kicking ass right now. Everybody with sewing machines, making masks. They're kicking ass right now. There's all of a sudden these dudes that are, making $250,000 a year or whatever are going, man, I got no skills. I don't even know how to cook.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. To me, that's a reinforcement of we
make a difference.
We make a difference. If to not everybody, we make a difference to ourselves in that we know how to survive.
And that's good enough.
And it's not even makers. I mean, I noticed this a couple of, maybe 3 weeks ago now. You have this kind of social hierarchy, don't you? And it sort of was based on how much salary you got. So you look at like the film stars, movie stars, footballers, singers, all that kind of thing. But are idolized by people. They have got good salaries. They've got good lives. They've got all the bling, loads of houses, cars, and all the rest of it. And now they're basically holed up in whichever one of their houses, and they can do nothing.
Right.
Whereas the guy driving the truck
And they're
from the
depending on
warehouse to the grocery store is now king of the world with the nurses and all these.
Exactly. They're depending on the truck drivers, the nurses, the grocery store workers, blah, blah, blah. These have become the heroes.
Yeah.
And I don't know that any of us walk away and will ever, and I hope that we do, but I don't know that it's going to happen. But I don't know that any of us will actually walk away and appreciate those people the way we appreciate them now. I hope we do. And I'm not looking to start a union and get their pay raise up. I'm just saying it's for people that are working in those industries that are putting their necks out right now for us. I mean, they deserve some credit. It's and it shouldn't be forgotten. That's all.
I mean, it's almost an argument for communism, isn't it? In a way. No, because you get these people who are idolized, and then anything happens. Something. It could have been a hurricane. Now it's a virus. It could have been some kind of natural disaster. It could have been anything. It could have been a meteor strike, and all of a sudden, the social hierarchy is completely flipped. Like a month ago, you were idolized because of your talent for kicking a bag of wind round a field by hundreds of thousands of people. Now you're nothing. You're irrelevant.
Well, it's the fact that it was able to be flipped is why it doesn't support your communist, model. Because because it was able to be flipped, the flexibility that's allowed in a democracy is there and allows us to flip it. Anyway, I don't want to get into a political conversation. Jamie, what is if you want me to ask the question again, I will. What do you? Okay. Go ahead.
With me, I'm to be honest, I'm not really going to change anything. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, keep putting out videos. The only thing really I'm going to change is I'm just going to go back out and start visiting other makers again.
Solid.
That's really all I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's going to be my answer as well. I mean, if we're going to run this out with me, I'm right there with Jamie. I mean, I miss the anticipation with getting together and seeing you guys in person, being able to shake hands, hug, kiss the ladies. Just because I'm weird.
I won't go that far. Vicky would probably kill me.
No, I don't mean. I don't mean full on lip. I mean like on the cheek or forehead. I'm just saying I regret not having the anticipation to show the love, if you follow me.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you guys are all assholes. I don't give a shit. All right.
It really is.
All right. Shout outs. Anybody got any shout outs they want to give today? Because I have one that stands out to me. But if you guys want to go ahead, then go ahead.
You can do your first if you want, Chris.
I will. My I guess so-called life lesson / shout out would be a 99-year-old man in England who told me that at any age you can make a difference. Can you give Captain Tom a little love here, because he raised over $21 million for the UK's NHS by walking around his damn patio. If that doesn't tell you there is inspiration out there, and at any age that you can make a difference, then I don't know what does. I mean, that man, I tip my cap to him. I mean, that is phenomenal. You guys, and it's such a British thing to do too. It's just like, that was wonderful. I loved reading that. I mean, I had a smile from here to here. That man is awesome. 21 million pounds. I think that's like, I don't know, 30 something odd million in the US. I mean, he raised for the National Health System. I mean, that's just freaking awesome.
So I just to update you there, Chris, I'm literally on the page now. For that, I'm just going to go GBP to US dollars. 32.9 million.
32.9 million.
Yeah, 32.9 million.
It's raised by a 99-year-old veteran of World War II, walking around laps in his garden.
Go.
I have nothing to say to that except that's just friggin' awesome. That man deserves all the kudos he can get. I mean, come on. If you can't learn from that and understand that at any age you can make a difference, then I don't know what to say. I mean, that's just awesome. Anyway, all right, that's my shout out. I thought that he needed to be mentioned today, so there you go. Oh, you know what? Well, guys, I'm sorry. We did forget to let Jamie sing, so we need to
Well, in actual fact, Chris actually sang earlier on in the week. So
yeah. Oh my God, I did, didn't I? All right, Jamie, do me a favor. Let us all get our headphones off, and then you go at it, okay?
Jamie's page.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Did we miss anything?
right.
Go for it, man.
First of all, with this whole virus thing going around, we've got Anna B from Anna B's workshop. She's kind of caught up in it. So we just want to send all our well wishes and hope she gets well soon. So,
and get well soon, love, because we do love you. I mean, we really do.
Yeah, get well soon. Going on from that, we've got a couple of little milestones. So I hit 4,000 subscribers over the past couple of days.
Yay! Okay, nobody cares. Go ahead.
Yeah. So someone's done a little bit better than me. Doug from Paul Barn, he's just hit 100,000 subscribers, so he's got his play button coming.
All right, good for him.
So well done to Doug.
Nice.
Yep. And obviously, I say this every week, but stickers. If you want stickers, you go to our website, makersinternationalpodcast.com. Click on the link that says stickers, and you get £20 at checkout off your stickers. It's a one email, one use. So if you've used your email once before to get your stickers, set up another email, get your stickers, and then you get them again. Otherwise, you won't get your discount. All right. So yeah, there's that. Onto my shout out. So there's 3 reasons that this person was my shout out. The first reason is he's only got 130 subscribers, which shocks me, to be honest with you. The second one is he puts out great content. And the third one is he's a paramedic for the NHS.
No kidding.
So, and that is Scott the Blue Light Turner. So yeah, definitely go and check him out. He's been doing some regular lives as of late. He's an awesome guy. So yeah, go check out Scott the Blue Light Turner.
The Blue Light Turner. Nice.
Also on Instagram, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I recognize that from that Instagram.
Richard, you got one?
I have got a shout out this week, actually. It's a 2-parter. It's a guy. I can't remember the actual guy's name, but the channel is Project Air. And the guy makes basically flying RC aircraft, and he got together with a couple of friends of his. One of which was a 3D printer guy, and the other chap from DIY Perks. The 3 of them kind of did a pull, and they built a radio-controlled Lancaster bomber with a working upkeep mine, like the proper dambuster Lancaster. And they dropped a little mini. Yeah, it's awesome. It's not a new video. This is back to November of last year. But I remember seeing a clip on Twitter from it, and then because obviously I slept, forgot all about it, and I stumbled across the first part of the video, and it's absolutely awesome. It laser cuts a big massive Lancaster, and then
what's the name of the channel again?
The channel name is Project Air, and it's all about. I mean, he makes all sorts of
Project
RC
Air
flying aircraft. Yeah. So, and you can actually download the plans for the Lancaster as well. That's it. Tom Stratton or Tom Stanton is the 3D printer guy, and then Matt from DIY Perks. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a really cool video. Really, like, properly.
Well, that's cool. I mean, Andy, we I don't want to hit you blindside with this, so if you don't have one, that's fine. But if you do, then feel free. Because I mean,
shout us out if
no,
you
because I know that. Why would he want to do that? Freaking A.
No, I have
The man
to
has
do-
a certain modicum of respect for himself. You know, it's like,
I was expecting Andy to go, what, you do videos as well?
Wait a minute. What?
hey,
No,
well,
I have to shout out Heidi from Slap Stuff Together.
Oh, I love her. Yeah.
Yes.
She did a video. You know, I watch a lot of maker content, and yeah, this one had to do with me, but just the overall general feel of her latest video
I saw that.
made me tear up. I will say that without shame. We Jamie and I and Jake had as
Kidnapped her.
as fate would allow, we kidnapped her, which, you know, it's just a felony. That's all. No big deal. But
It's not like burying a
go
Volkswagen.
check
But
her
it's
out.
fine.
She made through a long series of events, she made some mugs embossed with Fiona's image on the mugs, and she made a video about it, doing it, and just the way she's told the story was very, very cool.
That's awesome.
Heidi,
That's
the best.
awesome.
Nice.
Rock on. Well, Andy,
Nice.
thanks for coming on with us today, man. I mean,
Always fun, dudes.
we should have
always-
you on. I mean, you should volunteer more often. Oh,
No, I shouldn't. That's a bad idea. That's a terrible idea.
I seem to remember.
once every 3 months is fine, Chris. I mean, but you can't put me to this every day. That's just not going to work. I get it. No, Andy, trust me, I get it, because I sit here every week and wonder the same thing. Anyway, what were you saying, Richard?
I was just going to say, I seem to remember us asking to try and get Andy on more often, and he was like, "Nah, no."
No,
I can only handle you guys in this much bit. I mean, so I was like, and today was
to be honest, I fear for Richard. I feel like
I fear for me as well. Yeah. When Chris said Andy's in, I was like, "Oh."
the combination of Chris and Jamie and I, it's just I do not want to be responsible for Richard ending up in a straitjacket and Cat showing up at my doorstep going, dude,
what the hell?
I'm not,
Oh, dear.
I am not fending her off.
Well, Andy, we love you, and thanks for coming on with us, Richard. Let's wrap this thing up.
I tolerate him.
Do you know what? I think you already have, Chris. Are we going to do like a free? We're not on Patreon, but we do one after party anyway because I don't know. Or has Jamie got his?
I can for a bit.
He's got his. Jamie has his. Wait. Jamie has his premiere. I need to promote this again. Jamie has his premiere tonight at the top of the hour. So by all means, go show him some love.
Jamie does videos as well.
Yeah, he
I
does.
do.
I know it's weird, but yeah, he does, and some of them are actually kind of good.
Yeah.
Hold on, I need to go unsubscribe.
Birkey does videos too. They're called Hanging Out on a Shop Stall.
Hanging from a shop still.
Give me a minute and 20 seconds. Give me a minute. And 20.
Awesome. Well, on that note, I think it probably is time to leave. So thanks for joining us this evening. I don't know what we're talking about next week. Do we know what we're doing next week?
Hell no. We never do.
No, we never do. So yeah, join us again next week and you'll find out, as we probably will as well. So until then, you all take care.
Have a great week, everybody.
See you later, everybody.
Okay, thank you.